Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Is that we go into every single week thinking that we know what the storylines are. This week, it felt like Michigan, USC, Tennessee, Oklahoma. Those were the big games. We're going to spend so much time talking about them. We obviously spent a lot of time talking Tennessee and Oklahoma. USC and Michigan is going to have to take a back seat, a back burner, because we had an absolute thriller in Boulder, Colorado, okay? By now, we all know how it finished. Colorado, by the way, hosting Baylor, Big 12 opener for both teams. Baylor coming in with a 2-1 record, lost to Utah, but overall they've been playing pretty well. That pass defense has been really good. Baylor, by the way, has a 7-point lead, a touchdown lead with 2 seconds to go. On the Fox broadcast, they started playing the Cordell Stewart to Michael Westbrook video from 1994 or whatever it was. Deion Sanders, 2 seconds left, drops back, and this is what happened.
Gets the feet set toward the end zone for the game. It is caught by Wester, just like 1994.
Unbelievable finish. That is right. If you missed it, and I don't know how you possibly could have, but Colorado trailing by 7 points with 2 seconds to go. Deion Sanders throws it up. LeJontay Wester makes the catch. They force overtime. And then somehow, in maybe even more of an incredible twist, in overtime, Colorado scores first. Baylor gets the ball back. Baylor lunges for the end zone. And none other than Travis Hunter is the one that forces the fumble. Colorado survives. Colorado wins maybe the most entertaining game we've had all year, 38-31. And I just got one question for you, baby. Do you believe? Because I believe, listen, I know I'm overselling it, but I love this win for Colorado. And to me, it actually says a couple things about the Buffs, okay? First off, I'm just going to say it. Talking Heisman in September is stupid, okay? At the same time, I don't know how Travis Hunter cannot be your Heisman Trophy favorite as of today, this second, as we speak. Do you know that on Saturday, he became the first Colorado wide receiver in school history? This is a school that has produced first-round draft picks with 5 straight 100-yard receiving games, okay? This on top of being the best cornerback in college football. He is, in my opinion, the best wide receiver that I've seen so far in college football. It's no different than Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani just passed 50-50 in a year where he also could be the best pitcher if he wasn't hurt all the time. And so it's unbelievable. And again, I know it's silly to talk Heisman, but you know, if Colorado is in the mix late, I'm not talking about in the mix for a national championship. I'm talking about 8-4, 9-3, 7-5. He is putting up so many highlights. He's gonna be in the conversation. Okay. And by the way, like you want a quick history lesson. What he is doing isn't just, it's literally unprecedented. Okay. Because everyone wants to compare it to the Charles Woodson year and all that good stuff. For fun, I went back and looked it up. And if you're old enough to remember the Charles Woodson era, and I'm a little bit young, but at the same time, that Charles Woodson year, he was really an elite corner, an elite special teams guy that they occasionally put out to play wide receiver. And so I went back and looked it up. You know, Charles Woodson in his Heisman Trophy year had 11 catches all season long. So he's remembered as this historic two-way player. Travis Hunter had 13 catches last week alone, 37 catches through 4 games. He is the best wide receiver that I've seen in college football this year. To me, he is the Heisman Trophy frontrunner right now. Now, you finish 4-8, won't happen. Quinn Ewers comes back and leads Texas to an undefeated regular season, might not happen. Will Howard, whatever. There's a lot to be played, but Travis Hunter has been unbelievable. Again, a cornerback that people are afraid to throw to on one side, still has a pick, by the way, and then has 37 catches, First player in Colorado history with 5 straight 100-yard receiving games. Beyond that, can we take a second? And this is where everyone's going to get mad, and everyone's going to turn off the live stream, and everyone's going to get all offended. Can we take a second to appreciate what Coach Prime is doing at Colorado? Okay, because I was thinking about this after the game. I understand that for a lot of you, you don't like Coach Prime. I understand that some of you, he talks too much and the players talk too much and they went 4-8 last year and he talks too much. Well, you know what? Here's the bottom line. I don't care about the talking. I care about the results on the field. And I think what he is quietly doing at Colorado, quietly from a win-loss perspective, needs to be talked about more. That might sound crazy. Call me crazy. I don't really care. This is a guy that took over quite literally the worst Power 5 program in college football 2 seasons ago. That's not even debatable. They were 1-11, but it wasn't just being 1-11. They were losing games by 30 and 40 points that season. I'm not going to go back. I've done the whole thing where you go back and you read all the final stat sheets, whatever. So last year, yes, 4-8 was an improvement. And they are now 3-1 and 1-0 in the Big 12. Now, did they need an incredible play to get to 1-0? Sure, but I could flip it the other way. They outgained Baylor. Baylor had a punt return for a touchdown or a kickoff return for a touchdown. If they don't return that kick, we don't need the Shedeur Sanders pass. But this guy, listen, Deion said this, Coach Prime said this at Big 12 Media Days. He said, I am judged on a different basis than everybody else in college football. And I think he is onto something. I think he is dead right about what he said. He is judged differently than everybody else. 4-8 last year should have been a celebration. Instead, most people criticized him and he's overrated and he's this and he's that and he stinks. Listen, season didn't end the way anybody wanted, but 4-8 is by definition, 400% improvement over the previous season. They're 3-1 right now. This is incredible. By the way, sold out crowd. I thought about this. 4 straight primetime game. So you talk about a guy that is having impact on college football, even after a 4-8 year. 4th different primetime game. How about this? On 4 different networks. Week 1, North Dakota State, ESPN. Week 2, Nebraska, NBC. Week 3, Colorado State, CBS. Week 4, Baylor on Fox. 4 different networks put this team in primetime. And so I look at this team. I think what Deion is doing is incredible. I think we need to appreciate it. And I'm going to take it a step further. People are going to criticize, make fun of me. I think this team is better than people realize, and I think they are going to win a lot of games this season. When you look at the schedule, now I'll be honest, this game this coming weekend against UCF, Gus Malzahn, KJ Jefferson, in my opinion, is maybe the toughest game. I don't want to say it's the toughest, but it is one of the tougher games left on the schedule, okay? You look at the schedule that they have. They have UCF this coming weekend. I saw that they are a significant underdog. And you look at the schedule UCF is going to be a tough game. I'm not going to undersell it. But look at everybody else that Colorado has to play, because we thought of the Big 12 was going to be this crazy, wacky, weird conference. And it is. There's not a lot of margin between these teams. And so when I see this Colorado schedule, I don't see a team that's going to get embarrassed. Like I see, by the way, after Central Florida, you get a bye, then you play Kansas State. Kansas State just got embarrassed at BYU. By the way, BYU, altitude, might be cold weather. There's a lot of similarities between BYU and Colorado. That game is at Colorado, by the way. Arizona, listen, I was as big of an Arizona football supporter as there was last year. Jed Fish didn't love the way that he left. But right now, they're not stopping anybody, okay? Kansas State ran all over them, and a week later, BYU ran all over Kansas State. You have Kansas later in the year, a team that was preseason top 25. They already have 3 losses. Oklahoma State at home, to me, is not unbeatable. So I look at this schedule like, yeah, Utah is really tough. I'm not going to lie. They looked awesome without Cam Rising, which is another conversation we might have to get to by the end of the show. Cincinnati's not unbeatable. Arizona's not unbeatable. You just beat Baylor. Kansas State's not unbeatable. And so to me, I think this team might be better than people think. The defense is much improved. The run game is much improved. It's worth noting this was the second straight game where they were able to run the football effectively. Remember, a week ago against Colorado State was really the first time that they were able to run the football all season long, really the entire Deion Sanders era. And on top of that, on Saturday night, they finished with right around 100 yards rushing in that game against Baylor. Wasn't perfect, but it's also worth noting, by the way, Baylor had the number one pass defense in college football coming into this game. Shedeur finished with 341 yards passing and a couple touchdowns. And so when I look at this team, one, we need to appreciate what Coach Prime is doing. Full crowds, people care. This is from where things were to where things are. It's like night and day. Okay, not every program has to be Georgia and compete for a national championship every single year. Not every program has to be Alabama or Ohio State. But from where they were the day before they hired Coach Prime to where they are now, I don't think there's a bigger gap between that 2-year stretch at any program than Colorado. So I'm fascinated to see how this thing plays out. The defense, to their credit, has been playing better. By the way, it's worth noting, everyone's going to say, oh, they got lucky to win. Okay. Baylor had 100 yards less of total offense than Colorado did. Again, if they don't return a punt or a kickoff for a touchdown, Colorado doesn't have to make that big play. So I'm excited to see, but this team is so fun. And if you can't enjoy it, I'm sorry, because I am enjoying the heck out of it. I asked you off the top, I said, do you believe? Because Torres believes, baby. I love this Colorado story. And I can't wait. I'm ready for next week already as they get set to play Central Florida Saturday afternoon. That's the big noon. By the way, it's not a noon kickoff, but big noon will be there. Shows you the impact that Colorado has.